All right, slight confession, this is old footage. So this is actually a combination of maybe like late summer and new footage. In fact, if you follow me on Instagram, you probably saw this and like, why hasn't she posted this recipe? And for my smoothie bowls, as you guys know, I don't usually use liquid, so this is my method. I blend it, actually kind of like grinding it, almost like you're putting it in a food processor, which you can absolutely do. So if you have a shredding attachment, use that. Then after, it will be much easier to blend and get actually smooth. And to that, I added some fresh dragon fruit, plum, and star fruit, which this was actually my first time trying, and it was very interesting. It was a very sour grape kind of texture to it. It was really crunchy. Even though I didn't, I would recommend that you actually do add like a date or maybe pineapple, something to sweeten this up a little bit more, because it's mostly papaya, which doesn't taste like much. And for our second breakfast, another smoothie bowl, because you guys know, and I haven't been eating them since, you know, it's the F word, fall, which means it's the C word, cold. So this is really the last smoothie bowl that I made before the weather really changed. And again, if you follow me on Instagram, why aren't you following me already? You didn't see this bowl, but you did see the dragon fruit, in which case I told you guys that there were actually so many varieties of dragon fruit. Like this one was actually pink, not like dark pink, but like Barbie pink. And the flavor was actually different too. And in general, I thought that dragon fruit tasted like bland kiwi, but this and the yellow variety, which is white on the inside, total game changers. So if I can, I will find the specific name of this, put it down in the description box. And because this one was so sweet, it really didn't need much. So I just put passion fruit to add that very bright citrusy flavor. Not me putting this back into the fruit because I didn't feel like dirtying another dish, which I'm not ready to have that conversation. I know I've seen the comment before, but believe it or not, I don't actually make that many dishes. It's just that I don't want to do any of them. So, you know, like it's happy medium. And because this was enormous, like could have very well been a football, I had my dragon fruit with a side of dragon fruit. It was giant. And as we speak, I actually have a dragon fruit in my refrigerator that I think might be the same variety. And if it is, I'm going to be so excited. And here we are, back to modern day. And the first thing that I'm doing is making another milk tea. So you guys might remember that I showed you this in a previous video as well. The only difference here is that I'm actually brewing it with warm oat milk instead of doing a cold brew. However, I am still putting it in the refrigerator overnight. So whenever I make things like these, I like do things where I can set it and forget it. Anytime I make a syrup or a jam infusion, I just do it overnight because it's easy. I never do things in the same day that I intend to consume or use them, because when you're impatient, that's when things go wrong. That went in the fridge, and what I actually had for breakfast was dessert. And I'm classifying it as breakfast only because it is a waffle, which, as you can see, barely fit. If you do own this, please be careful because it is extremely hot. Like, I am touching it on the outside, but on the outside it feels like the temperature that it is on the inside, so you should probably be wearing gloves for this. And even though I put the glaze on it, my frontal lobe just knew that that ain't gonna be enough. You already know how I feel about doughy, bready things without lubrication. So top that with some ice cream. I don't know if you can really classify that as breakfast, but hey, this is no worse than like cereal. I'm gonna take the milk tea that we brewed, but instead of just drinking it as a beverage, We're gonna turn this into a meal. So you first just wanna strain it, and then you can sweeten that with any sweetener of your choice. I'm using agave. So we're actually gonna make this into oats. And you could totally do like warm porridge with this, but I'm again going to do a overnight brew. Would this have saved time by just taking tea that I had already made initially with warm milk and just immediately strained that and made the overnight oats? Yes, it would have. I guess I wanted a really strong brew, so that's one reason why I left it overnight. And number two, like I told you, there can't be too many steps in one day, okay? Because then my brain gets angry. We are not entirely productive, and that's okay. And I'm also adding some chia seeds because although I don't know the like liquid to dry ingredients ratio here, I could already tell from the look of it, it didn't seem like it was going to be quite right. So I wanted to both thicken it up and add some like, you know, extra nutrients. When I actually went to eat this, although I didn't personally top it with anything because I had nothing, I would highly recommend adding boba on top. Just, you know, really bring the experience full circle. And if anyone does try that, please tag me in it. Let me know what you think. So yeah, speaking of cereal, we are now actually making some. So what I'm doing here is I'm trying to imitate Hunee Smacks. Don't ask me why, but I was all of a sudden having a craving for it, and I knew I wasn't going to find a vegan version of it. So this is me attempting to make my own, and spoiler alert, it don't taste like Hunee Smacks, but why would it? I'm putting them together, and then I'm baking them, making sure that they're all in a even layer on my tray. And you can use any liquid sweetener that you want for this. So brown rice syrup, agave, coconut nectar, date nectar, you know, all of the things. And then I baked it until golden. And although I called this cereal, I'm not eating it like cereal. So I'm actually just using this like a granola just because I've been really enjoying like that puffed texture on top of my yogurt. But you know, feel free to eat it with milk if you want to. I can't do a breakfast video without showing you a cold pressed juice. I'm going for one of my favorites, which is pineapple apple mint. As always, make sure that you save your scraps because you never know, they might make it to a future food scraps video. Since you guys like the first one, I am planning on doing a second one. So I did save my apple cores, and I also saved all of the pulp from this juice, which is why I'm actually juicing all of them separately. I just want to kind of isolate those flavors so that they're easier to incorporate into different meals. And what I've done with that pulp is I've actually separated it into ice cube trays. So that's a great way to store them if you want to do the same. And although this recipe is delicious by itself, I wanted to add some more greens to it. So I also added either arugula or kale. I'm not sure which. Something that I would actually normally have on like a summer morning, but I feel like it's just really uplifting in general. So highly recommend. Another combination that I have literally been obsessed with, although I don't actually eat that much yogurt, which it probably does not at all seem apparent on this channel, the way that I absolutely love it is with passion fruit. I think I've already expressed my love of passion fruit, and I actually had the idea to turn this into what I am calling the sunny side up parfait. And another episode of Is It Dessert or Is It Breakfast? I am making the most adorable red bean paste buns because one of you guys actually recommended that I try red bean paste because you thought I would really enjoy it, and you were not wrong. What really sold me was the buns, because like who doesn't like bao buns? They're so soft. And the red bean paste is like just the perfect amount of sweet. It's not overpowering. I found them at an Asian market. I know this comes in like a lot of different formats. It doesn't have to be a bun, and it doesn't have to also look like a peach. But hey, I'm a sucker for packaging. And that was this week's video. So if you guys liked it, please do give it a thumbs up because it lets me know what you want to see more of. And I'll see you next week. Bye.